What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do a recap of the Tennessee-Georgia game from week 5. I know it's been a whole week, and I'm just not getting this video out. Apologize for getting it out so late. It's kind of been a crazy week for me, but nevertheless, I still wanted to get this video out because I did think it was important to kind of talk about that game from last week. So just kind of my first impressions of the game. I mean, I like that we came out early on and we were hitting those guys in the mouth. We had a few big hits. First time I really seen us pop anybody all season long. And we really come out there and popping those guys, so that was good to see. You know, had a few really nice hits. I think we even put Fields out for the game. It was in the fourth quarter, but I mean, I think Bryce Thompson put a shot on him, and I don't think Fields came back in that game. I think he was a little woozy. He might have been concussed after that. I mean, he played this week against Vandy, but great hit. Love to see it. And so that was definitely a positive. And you know, you can see this team getting better. You can see guys doing their job. You can see our linebackers playing faster. When they see run, they're kind of getting there and they're filling that hole before the running back even gets there a lot of times. So that's good to see. But you know, just starting with the defense, I guess we did not stop the run well. Georgia was really able to run it whenever they wanted to on us. And you talk about our D-line and you say, well, that's probably the most consistent group on this team. Has been consistent all season long. Hadn't really been dominant, but has always been very, very solid. And even against Georgia, I wouldn't say that they had a bad game, but definitely got pushed around more than you'd like to see from that group, and more than we've seen all season from that group. So, you know, I saw Kyle Phillips getting driven way out of there a few times, and you know, you just hate to see that type of stuff. You want to see your D-line really anchor down and kind of maintain their gap, maintain their responsibility. So we'd like to see improvement this week as we go to play Auburn. I'd like to see us do a lot better in that regard. You know, I think overall they played decent. Just when we had to have stops, especially in the fourth quarter, our D-line was kind of getting moved and weren't able to stop the run. So that's always very concerning. Give up over 250 yards on the ground, so that's never good in any situation, in any circumstance. And look at our linebackers. I think they played, you know, decent overall. I think Will Ignatz was really starting to come along. It was good to have Sat back. He flashed a lot. Kirkland's he had a big hit early in the game on Cook, their true freshman running back, but he's a guy that just really seems to let me down a lot. He's a lot slower than I thought he was. You can't really catch anybody in open space. I don't care if it's quarterback, the tight end, the running back, receiver, whoever it is. He ain't gonna catch him. Okay, he ain't gonna catch anybody, so that's very frustrating to watch. But I think that, you know, Batuli and Ignat and Sapp, and even Kirkland, I think they played solid overall. But still, same theme that I've kind of been preaching all season. They've got to get off blocks. They've got to figure out how to get off blocks. Okay, I don't know how you really coach a guy to get off of a guy that's, you know, 350 pounds when you're only 230. But, you know, I would start with, hey, drive your face mask through his freaking chin and extend your daggum arms. Okay? Try to knock him back. That should be your goal, instead of trying to catch him flat-footed or catch him while you're running backwards. Attack him. Hit him in the daggum mouth. And that's what I want to see more of. You know, we got to start hitting guys in the mouth. Bring the fight to them. Don't let them bring the fight to us. So we got to work on getting off blocks with those guys. You know, I think our outside backers played much better. Probably their best game. Darrell Taylor, of course, had 3 sacks, which is awesome. I mean, phenomenal. Even Kongbo looked decent a lot of time. He had a big hit on Fromm first play of the game. They completed the pass for about 15-20 yards, but heck, you know, I may rather give up 20 yards and get a good lick on a quarterback than, you know, not hit him at all. So love it. Love to see us getting to the quarterback and affecting the passer. I think if you look at who we played all season, you know, West Virginia, a Big 12 ball club, not known for having necessarily a smash mouth style team. You look at East Tennessee, a AA ball club. You look at UTEP, a team that ain't won a game in years. You look at Florida, a team that is looking a lot better now. But heck, I don't know if they're really anything special at that time that we played them. And you look at Georgia and you say, well, Tennessee's pass rush looked better against Georgia than did against any of those scrub teams that we played all season. And so, you know, what does that mean? I don't know. I'll let you guys figure it out for yourselves. Does it mean Georgia's a very underrated ball club, a very overrated O-line? I'm sorry, very overrated ball club, a very overrated O-line? Or does it mean Tennessee's D-line just seems to rise to the occasion? I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit of both. But I think that says a lot about Georgia, that we played East Tennessee and UTEP, and we affected the passer much more against Georgia than we did against those guys. But that's just my take on it. But I think overall, front seven played well. Secondary, probably their worst game, I'd say. Guys were actually open pretty consistently, and a lot of times it was just playing man coverage. And like I know one play they threw it to McCole Hardman across the middle on like a little drag route, and Buchanan was manned up on him in the slot. He was playing about 6 yards off. I think he had outside leverage, and they kind of picked Buchanan a little bit. But you're 6 yards off the guy. McCole Hardman just runs as soon as the ball snapped, full speed, flat down the line. If you get picked on that play, it is tough to make that to catch up to that. And so that's kind of what happened there. Buchanan got picked off, and McCole was wide open. A few other plays were in man coverage. I saw Bryce Thompson kind of get confused, and he hesitated for some reason. Like a guy crossed his face, and he hesitated as if he thought he was in zone for a split second. And that split second created separation, and the guys were open. So that's really kind of what I saw from why we're getting beat. But it's something we got to work on, understanding our responsibilities, understanding the coverage more soundly. But I think we came up pretty well in run support. Nigel Warrior's playing downhill a lot faster. Micah Abernathy has really made a believer out of me. I think he's one of our guys. He's one of the rocks of this defense. And I never thought I'd say that after watching him play for Tennessee football for years and years and years. And one of the guys that I've always hated to watch play, because he just never wanted to lay a hit on anybody, never was in the right position, was always getting beat deep. I hated to watch him play, but this season he has really stepped it up, and he's a guy that I feel pretty confident in. I know I can count on, and I would say he's surpassed Nigel Warrior as our best guy in that back end. I'd say so. He's really, really sound. He comes up and runs support. He does a lot of really good things for this team. Plays all over. I think us allowing him to stay deep, we're going to go nickel, allowing him to stay deep and moving. I think we move Ben Buchanan in there to nickel a lot of times. And then we're bringing Alontae Taylor off the bench and have Alontae and Bryce playing corner. And so our 5 DBs are Alontae and Bryce at corner. We got Abernathy and Warrior at safety, and then Buchanan in there in the slot playing nickel. I think that's our best grouping of DBs. Let's try to keep Trayvon Flowers off the field if we can. Hey, let's let him get some reps, but not meaningful reps when the game still matters. Okay, he needs to get ready for next season and stuff like that. But he ain't ready to help this team now. So let's kind of save him for whenever the game's already over or whatever it is. But yeah, let's keep our five best guys out there on the field as much as we can, because I think that's a pretty good group of DBs. Overall, though, I think defense played well. They're on the field a lot. And so, they couldn't stop the run late. But, again, I think the time of possession was like 22 minutes for us, and they had the ball for like 37 minutes. And so defense, I think, got kind of worn down. And it's just tough when you're on the field all day. Our offense couldn't convert third downs. We're 2 of 11 on third down. Couldn't stay on the field. And so I think defense got a little gassed, and we don't really sub much on defense either. And so I think those guys were gassed, and it was just tough for them to really, kind of maintain throughout the course of the game. But looking at our offense, it's easy to kind of look at some of the play calls and say, by gosh, what was Ty Hilton thinking? But I kind of admire what he did coming out, because we're a team that, if you look at us through our first 4 games, we did a terrible job protecting the passer. I don't care if we're playing UTEP, East Tennessee, West Virginia, Florida, whoever it was. Garantano was getting whacked every play, as I've already said. And so I think the game plan for Hilton was to come out and just do some quick passes, get the ball in his hand quick, and try to protect our quarterback so he wouldn't take all those shots. Of course, looking at it on paper, you'd say, well, we couldn't protect against West Virginia, we couldn't protect against East Tennessee or UTEP, whoever, Georgia's way better than those guys up front, you would think. So we really need to have a game plan for this because they're really going to tee off on us. But that turned out to not really be the case. Their D-line didn't really do much, honestly, against our O-line. But you know, I understand where Ty Hilton's head was at, and so I kind of admire the fact that he saw a weakness in our team and tried to do something to kind of counteract that. But I think he went about doing it all wrong. If we're going to do those lateral passes, which I'm not a fan of, unless you have a lot of team speed, which we don't. If you're going to do those lateral passes, put the ball in the hands of your playmakers, okay? We don't have any speedy guys aside from Ty Chandler, but hey, let's get to Ty Chandler. Let's get it to Jawan Jennings. Let's get it to Marquez Callaway. Let's get to those guys. Let's get to Murphy off the bench. He hadn't played since the first game of the season. Let's get to him. Even Josh Palmer. Really anybody aside from Brandon Johnson would be fine. But, you know, it is what it is now. But, you know, I'm not a fan of the lateral stuff, especially when you're playing against a team with a lot of team speed on defense. I'd rather, you know, run right at him or, you know, take shots down the field. But, you know, it is what it is. O-line ended up protecting pretty well for us, and so I think as the game went on, we kind of stopped that lateral stuff and began to push down the field more and had more success with that. Just couldn't really convert those third downs, those third and shorts. We were in several third and shorts, and we could not convert it. We had to be able to convert those because, you know, third and short is what you want. You know, that's a good pacing on offense. You know, get to 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6, get to 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and then you got to be able to convert that. We couldn't convert. We can't run up the middle, and then we try to play action it, and we try to throw it to Pope. The play calling isn't necessarily awful, but the guys that we choose to call those plays for is awful a lot of the times. I don't know. I guess this team, this staff is really all about, hey, how you perform in practice is how you're going to do in the game. And I guess a lot of our guys like Jennings and Callaway and Banks, whoever else, I guess those guys must not be great in practice or something because we seem to not want to call plays for those guys. We want to call plays for these guys like Pope and Johnson and Tim Jordan and those guys. Let's get to our best guys, okay? Staff, you've been here long enough to know who can play and who can't play, okay? You've seen it, you should know. Make the adjustment and get the guys the ball that need to have the ball in their hands. That's all I'll say about that. I think our O-line did pretty well in pass protection, probably the best they've looked in pass protection all season. Looked well. Run game, I actually, you know what? I know all season I've been kind of saying, hey, we need to pass more, pass it more. But we actually had success running the ball. I know the stats don't really show it. We had like 66 yards on like 30 carries, or not even, I don't know how many carries it was, probably like 20, 25 rushes, whatever it was. But we actually moved the ball well, particularly Ty Chandler. I think he finished the game with 5 carries. He had 5 carries for 27 yards, I believe. Okay. But let's talk about those yards that he actually gained. Okay, his first carry of the game was like a 17-yarder. First play of the game, 17 yards. His second carry, I believe, was like an 8-yarder. And then I think he had another carry, got some good yards. One that he could have broke. If he can make one guy miss, he may have scored. Okay, but he gets tripped up by I think Reed. I think came down and made the tackle. Their safety made the tackle. But if he could have broke that little shoestring tackle, he might have scored on that. Okay. I mean, the holes were open. He had great success running the ball. And then his last 2 carries, I think he had one that was for no gain. And then he had one that was on like a 3rd and 17. We go back to our good old, hey, it's 3rd and 17. Let's just run a draw. And he gets hit in the backfield for a 3-yard loss. And so those are his 5 carries. 3 were great gains, and then 2 were not so great. But he didn't get the ball again for the rest of the game other than a couple pass plays. And so what were we thinking? If we're having success doing something, why would we stop doing it? Keep feeding Ty Chandler. He's getting yards. Give him the ball. Give him the ball. So we actually ran it well, I thought, especially when we gave it to Ty Chandler. But we just didn't do it much, and it ended up costing us. We got behind, and you know, really didn't know what to do when we got behind it like we did. But, you know, I just think that we need to really improve our play calling, put ourselves in positions to win the game. I think our receivers, I mean, you know, they didn't necessarily play terrible, I guess, but I still would like to see us give the ball to Juwan more, a lot more, force it to him down the field, please. I've been begging for that all season. When are we going to start doing it? And just taking shots down the field more in general than we need to do. I'd like to see Murphy get more playing time. He's number 11. He played in the first game of the season. I believe he had a catch. Maybe even had a touchdown. Maybe he didn't. No, he didn't have a touchdown, but he had a catch, I believe. And looked great in the spring. Just he isn't playing for whatever reason. And I just want to see us getting our guys out there that can play. You know, let's spread the ball around. Let's get the ball to our playmakers. Let's try it and see if it works. Because we ain't really tried it all season long. Juwan Jennings is a beast. Every time we throw it to him, he gets a catch. And he gets good yards. Every time. Every time. Every time. So let's do it more. Tight ends, you know how I feel about Pope. I guess he's kind of a fullback. Can't stand that guy. Domwood Anderson still ain't doing a daggum thing for us. I mean, he ain't got a lick of separation all season long. And he's a guy I was really big on. And I guess I've learned my lesson about kind of watching that JUCO film, because he looks like an all-star out there against those JUCO guys. But put him down here in SEC ball, and he ain't doing a daggum thing for us. It's a daggum shame. It's a daggum shame. But, you know, maybe we just need to get a little more creative with our play calling, and, you know, let's not keep doing that daggum hitch into the boundary with them. You know, give him something across the field, maybe a drag or something. I don't know. Give him something. Give him something more creative. Maybe that'll get his confidence up, and he'll start playing better if he gets a catch or so. Something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I think the O-line, you know, played decent overall. I think receivers played decent. I think backs didn't really do much aside from Ty Chandler. He's very dynamic. We need to use him a lot more. He needs to be getting 20 touches a game. He's one of those type of guys. Because he's a guy, if you think about it, I mean, when he gets the ball, okay, like every 3 or 4 times he gets the ball, he's either breaking a big one or he's like this close to breaking a big one. He's like this close. Okay, so let's keep giving it to him. Okay, if he gets 20 touches a game, he's probably gonna have 4 or 5 big plays out of those 20 touches. So let's keep on giving it to him. He needs more touches too. But you know, I think overall played well. Garantano. You know, this is kind of the first time where I really felt like Garantano was affected by all the hits he's taken. He seemed not really flustered, but he was kind of rushing a little bit. He was rushing throws, not really making all his reads. And I guess after a while, you say, you know what, this O-line isn't protecting me, so I ain't got time to make all my 3rd and 4th read. I got to make my 1st, 2nd read, and then, you know, force it in there. So can't really blame him, but this is kind of the first time where I felt like he was really rushing it and wasn't really comfortable back there in the pocket, even though he did have time. Bet most time he's had all season, I'd say. But, you know, overall, man, disappointing loss. But you can see improvement. You can see this team kind of going in the right direction. And, you know, I just think if we just continue to get better, then this team will be okay. And that's one thing I will say is I feel like this team has gotten better each week. Look at us the first week and look at us now, even though we're still getting beat pretty handily. We look like the issues that I was seeing in the first game, like guys just flat out missing their assignment, flat out missing their blocks. You're not seeing anywhere near as much of that. You're seeing guys play faster. I mean, you're seeing it. So that tells me that the coaching staff is seeing a lot of the same things that I'm seeing, and that they're making the same corrections that I would make. And that's a good sign, if you ask me. So, you know, overall, happy with what I'm seeing from as far as the progress perspective. And, you know, can't wait to see us go out there next week against Auburn and see what we do. Auburn's a struggling team, and I think we got a chance to get that big upset. I really believe it can happen. I really do. I mean, it should at least be a competitive game. Okay, I definitely don't expect this to be a game like we've had against all our other Power 5 teams this year, where we get blown out of the water. I don't expect that. It's going to at least be competitive. I I mean, that's the least that I expect, is for it to be a competitive game. I'm not gonna be surprised if we win it, but I'm gonna pump out a video about kind of looking at that game later this week, and kind of tell you guys what I think, and kind of the keys to success for us for that game. But overall, man, still love this team, still love this staff. I think we're going in the right direction. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in with me as I drive in my car on the way home from training some little league guys. But if you're new to the channel, hey, give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Stay tuned for the next video. Thanks, guys.